Okay, so our last little bit, we're looking at the world's largest democracy. India is the world's largest democracy. It has over 1 billion people. It's the second most populous country in the world. When they gain their independence and they become free and no longer under the control of the British, they're going to set up a federal system with powers divided between a strong central government and several small local governments, very similar to the United States and how we are set up. It recognizes 15 official languages and 35 major regional languages. After Gandhi's death, we will see the Nehru dynasty come about, and a dynasty is like a period of time where one family is in control. And the first is Jawaharlal Nehru, who comes into power after Gandhi, and he is going to work to build India into a modern state, promoting social justice and equality and freedom, democracy, very democratic ideals. And he is going to be in charge for 16 years. After him, the next prime minister is his daughter, Indira Gandhi, and she is going to do fairly well, but she is also going to be assassinated by her bodyguards. And the reason for that was that she had some differences with, or they had differences with her over some of her religious beliefs. After her grandson, or Jawaharlal Nehru's grandson, Rajiv Gandhi, is going to become prime minister until 1991, and he will be killed by a suicide bomber. And his issue, or the issue behind that assassination, was Rajiv Gandhi's involvement in the civil war going on in Sri Lanka. Some people felt he didn't need to be in there. So that's kind of the ruling family that was in power for a while. However, India has seen a lot of economic growth, a lot of industrial growth. Their railroad is their basic transportation system. They have a lot of dams on their rivers, which creates a lot of hydroelectricity, which is good for them. And they have a booming steel industry. However, India still lacks oil and natural gas. They are very dependent on their imports from other countries for this. And so they are still sort of struggling in that area. They do have a green revolution, and this green revolution comes about in order to make India self-sufficient in food production so that they can feed their own people. And this green revolution will bring about new seeds, chemical fertilizers, irrigation methods, all to improve farming. Education will also see major improvements in India. They will build schools and universities. Boys still tend to go to school more than girls, and the poor do get less education than those that are middle class or rich, but they are making strides to make that more equal. India does obviously have some population issues. Their population has multiplied 3 times since they became independent, and more than 1/3 of their population lives in poverty. And many people are going to stream to the cities in order to find jobs, but there's not enough jobs. And in most of these cities, they have trouble getting basic services such as water or sewage control. And so India has taken great strides in order to encourage family planning so that they don't increase their population even more. So a lot of family planning about how many kids you should have and what can you afford to have, and how can you ensure that they have a good future. India also is making some small social changes. The caste system, obviously a point of contention. The Constitution officially bans discrimination against untouchables, but the prejudice still persists. It's not like it's completely gone. The government has tried to open more jobs for untouchables, but oftentimes it meets with violent protests, or the people themselves just don't go because they know that they could be persecuted. Women will also see some major social changes taking place. They have the right to vote. They can be elected to office. They can enter the professions, but they are still lower paid for jobs that they do that are equal to men. So it's still making strides, a little slow in some areas than others, but India is a nation in economic growth.